This is a draft game of Sorcery Contested Realm played at Flesh and Blood Foundry in Portland, Oregon. And these decks were drafted. We did a Winston draft with just my friend Kevin and I. Kevin's up at the top of the screen. So right now we roll to see who goes first. Kevin won the roll off and he opted to take the play. And we're looking at mulligans right now. I had to, I think, remind him to draw a fourth card for Spellslinger. Spellslinger is the draft avatar, and every time when I play, either I forget or my opponent forgets that you get that fourth card draw at the start of the game, which is the only real benefit that avatar is going to provide. So I think I end up pitching the rock. I know that it's... Yeah, I think I end up pitching the rock, even though, we built our decks together, so I know he has a Ring of Morrigan in this deck somewhere. But I pitch it because I also have a Common Sense in the deck, and I didn't want a bunch of dead cards right at the beginning here. I wanted to be able to get out there with some bodies and start swinging and hopefully overwhelm him before the ring becomes a concern in the game. So turn one, he plays, it looks like a humble village or a common village, and pays for the foot soldier. And then he passes turn. I'm going to draw a site for turn, and it looks like I'm going to play out a valley, which is going to give me an earth threshold. Then I'm going to pass turn. Kevin's going to draw a spell. It's going to tap for second sight. Second sight is a beacon. So no Genesis advantage on that, but he gets to play a kettle top. And now he has a kettle top and a foot soldier token on the board. So I draw a spell for turn this time, and now I'm trying to decide, I think, where I'm going to be playing this site. Am I going to meet him in the middle, or am I going to play a little bit more defensively? And I opt to play a little bit more defensively just because I think I don't have the minions in hand really to meet him and start making trades. And I also don't want to kill the leprechaun too soon to give him that sight draw, that free sight draw right now. So he's going to play a Spire, he's going to move up the leprechaun, he's going to move up his foot soldier token. Or he's thinking about it. Yep, he's gonna move. He's moving it up. He has 3 mana for the turn with the Spire that just came out, and it looks like he has some low power options. Yeah, he's got a Squeakers and the Squirrel, and he's gonna choose to play those forward. So he has a lot of things on the board. The problem is that they are all pretty low power. But it depends. Like if I don't have anything that I can play to deal with those in hand, he could end up swarming. I'm going to go ahead and tap, probably for my third sight here. And I'm going to go ahead and play... looks like just a generic fire site. I think I was thinking about playing the River of Flame, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to that left column or not. And then I play a Field Laborer out to the right. So the Field Laborer is relatively safe there unless he has a combat trick. So he could advance something and attack the home site and then grapple shot to it to kill it, or he could blink to trade for it. But I decided to take that risk and put that out there, make him do the work to try to remove that, if he can or can't. So he advances with the Leprechaun for 2 points of damage to the site. He moves his token forward. He has 4 mana for turn right now. And I think he ended up just passing turn, so I don't think he didn't have a play that he wanted to make. So I'm gonna play my Foresight. I end up playing the River Flame all the way out there. I do tap for the extra mana this turn, and I believe I'm able to play a Viking. Yeah, here comes the Vikings. So Vikings put Kevin in a difficult position just because they are 4 power. And they have that ability to tap to do 2 damage to every adjacent a unit at an adjacent site. So that's going to start putting him on the back foot. Even though he has more minions than I do on the board, they are all pretty low power. And if he wants to trade them for the Vikings, he needs to position them in a way that he can do that, and then also, we're talking about a 3-for-1 trade just to get the Vikings off the board. Instead, he chooses to go ahead and trade for the Field Laborers to get them off the board, and then I think to get he's going to go ahead and take his free card draw from the Death Right on the Leprechauns. I feel like that was almost maybe a little too late with the Field Laborers. Like, I already got that ramp off. I could potentially play another site here on my next turn and get back up to 5, which is more or less kind of where I cap out with my deck here in terms of mana. I choose to move instead of play a site, and then I play a Lumbering Giant, which again is a very difficult threat for Kevin to have to deal with. It's another 4 power minion on the board when he is looking at 3 1 power minions on his side. So he taps for a Bog. And I believe he is choosing the home site. He's choosing the home site to as the target to disable. So everything atop that home site where the giant is now disabled until his next turn. And then he brings a Sly Fox into play. So he has 4 1 power minions on the board right now. And then he passes turn. So we're just putting the token on the Sly Fox so we know that it has stealth. And then I'm going to move up and attack with the Viking onto the Bog. And Kevin is opting to take that, I believe, and not declare any blockers. So that's 4 points of damage in, and that changes the positioning on the Viking forward. And then I tap to play another site. So I bring my mana base up to 5. I cannot do anything with the Lumbering Giant this turn because that site is everything on that site is still disabled. And then I choose to play my second, or not my second, but I choose to play my own Kettletop Leprechaun in a defensive position to the right of that site. in case he wants to try to attack into that site with anything next turn. The Reckless Squire, I think I forget for a moment that anything on that site is going to be disabled this turn, and I think I end up changing the positioning on that in just a second. Yeah, so now I'm realizing that the bog has everything disabled down on that site, so I'm going to move the positioning of the Reckless Squire over to the left, and then I'm going to opt to just leave it there with the lance for now and pass turn. Things have become a little bit difficult for Kevin here. Like, he's kind of in a tough position. I now have a lot of threats on the board, and he only has these low power minions to try to meet them with. He does play a troll bridge over here, and then he decides to play a Sherwood Huntress and a grapple shot. So he's going to grapple shot into the Viking, and then he's going to trade 2 of his minions to finish off the Viking. In retrospect, looking at this, I probably could have chosen to block with a Reckless Squire to force him to lose the Squeakers as well. But it is what it is. He decides to reposition his minions over onto the Troll Bridge and then pass turn. Now it's my turn. I'm going to advance forward with the Reckless Squire, and I'm just going to attack to kill the Huntress. I'm going to Burning Hands from my avatar to kill everything on the Troll Bridge. Again, the Burning Hands, it doesn't target the minions or the units on the site. It just chooses a cardinal direction and deals that damage. So that's how I can get that damage in, like cheat that damage into the Sly Fox when it has stealth. So I am realizing now that he has a sea serpent. I didn't catch that before when we were looking at each other's decks when we were building them. I found that slightly amusing at the time, just because obviously it's not optimal to build into that unless you're building heavily into a water strategy, which he was not. I think he ended up taking a sea serpent out of desperation. I advanced forward and I attacked with the Lumbering Giant for 4 more points of damage, which brought him down to 12. So this game, I think, is going to go downhill pretty quick for Kevin. In limited format, if you're facing something like a Lumbering Giant that's a 4 power and you don't have an answer for that, either removal or a 4 power of your own, or a 3 power with a lance, something that can deal with it, it becomes very difficult to stabilize your board state and then create opportunities for you to start trading more favorably. So you see right now he played a Band of Thieves, which is a 3-drop, but he is likely going to have to sacrifice that as a defender, just to kind of stop the hemorrhaging that the Lumbering Giant is going to cause. So he's going to pass turn back to me. Draw a spell for turn. I'm going to choose to advance and attack with the Lumbering Giant, and he opts not to block it. I think just because he wants an option to at least trade and kill it in some fashion. I attack forward again with the Leprechaun and the Reckless Squire as well, and then I tap for a sight. And at this point, I have a ton of mana at my disposal. I have six sights on the board. And I play a brown bear. Unless Kevin had something that could serve as a board wipe to take out some of these threats, like an earthquake or a lava flow, an Atlantean fate, something. It is very difficult to deal with this constant pressure of these mid-range creatures. He does get the ring out, but I think that's going to be too little too late. And I think he's going to choose to attack into the Lumbering Giant for 3 points of damage, and then cast the spell to ping it with the ring for the 4th point. Yeah, so there we go, the Hippogriffs. It's going to deal a point. He's going to heal 1 point of damage. And now he can attack with the Hippogriffs with the charge ability. And I think he's going to choose to remove the Leprechauns from play, which is a good move. He needs to start making trades and removing creatures. And the extra sight at this point in the game probably doesn't help me that much, just because I already have 6 on the board. So I did draw a Joust in my hand. I think that's going to be important. And I don't remember off the top of my head, but I believe I end up moving forward and attacking with the brown bears and then using Joust to force the brown bears and the Hippogriffs to switch places. Okay, so that was a play mistake on my part. I probably should have I definitely should have moved the bears up and attacked the bog, and then done the Joust from the bog to his spire. So it would have resulted in the same loss of the Hippogriffs, but I would have been able to get 4 points of damage into him. And then I'm moving back, and I think I'm moving back just because I don't want to give him a free target for the ring on his turn. I want to force him to have to move forward if he wants to get to the squire. The bears are still sitting there, so he does still have access to ping those bears with whatever spells he wants to cast on this turn without moving at all. And then I do play I think it's a York Crossbowman, a 3-power minion with range on my back row. So if he can't deal with that, and he can't deal with the bears on his next turn, that's going to be 7 points of damage swinging in. And then I go ahead and play another sight, just because I have it in my hand and I have the ability to do it. And then I was looking at the positioning on the sites. I didn't want to give him any new attack path avenues that were going to be advantageous to him at that point. And I didn't want to give him somewhere that his avatar could run to, because I'm anticipating being able to get him to door, if not next turn, then fairly soon. Even with the ring out, it just there's only so much the ring is going to do for you if you don't have enough minions to kind of answer the threats that your opponent has and to stabilize. So he plays the Grain Sparrow. He gains 2 life from the Grain Sparrow. He gains an additional point from the ring pinging, and then he's going to blink to ping and heal another point and get a card draw. I think he's just digging for a solution to the bears at this point. So now he plays looks like a Blue Knight. So Blue Knight with a lance. And that could, I mean, that is, you know, that could be a serious answer to the bears if you can get an attack in with it. So at this point now, I'm looking at my options. I don't remember what I do on this turn, but I think I do kind of determine that I kind of have to deal with the knight with the lance, because that is problematic. So I spend a heat ray to go ahead and get rid of that. And then I move forward and pick up the lance just so he doesn't have access to it. And I pay the toll for the troll bridge by discarding a card. I attack in with the bears for 4. I attack in with the crossbowman for 3. And I attack in with the reckless squire for 1. It's going to bring him down to 3. So again, I felt like it was best to deal with that threat from the knights on the board that turn before he had a chance to make use of it, and then kind of just hope that I can get those last points of damage on next turn to bring him to door. So even with the ring, I think he didn't have a card in his hand before, so at most he was only going to get 1 card and 1 spell to be able to play for a ping. So he top decks a Violamp. He can play it and ping the bears for 2, and the ring will ping the bears for 3, but it's not enough to kill it. I think probably what he should have done is played the Violamp forward and pinged the crossbowman for 2, and then pinged it with the ring for 1 to kill it. But it still puts him in a tough spot. It still puts him in a spot where he's going to door next turn, just because the bears are going to be able to attack in, potentially. Now at this point, though, I can go ahead and attack in with my other pieces and then use the bears to remove the Violamp from the game. So, and then play a Sandworm. Just as extra insurance. At this point, the game, I think, is over for Kevin. He's trying to reposition to run away and block, but I don't think he has a way to deal with the threats that are on the board right now. Again, I mean, if you saw the previous video where we did the draft and you looked at the deck lists that we were able to come up with, I have more 4-power bodies in my deck. I have more mid-range in my deck than he does. He was really light on impactful minions, which ultimately I think hurt his chances in the game. So I'm going to attack in. He's going to choose the block with the squire, and then I'm just going to move forward with everything, kind of just trapping him in that corner. So I think it was a pretty good game, and like Kevin, he made a lot of good choices He made the best choices, I think, with the pieces that he had available. But ultimately, it wasn't going to be enough to allow him to stabilize. So now he's back into that corner. He is choosing the Ice Lance, which is going to do 3 to the bears, and then ping for 1 point to, I believe, remove the bears. Which is, a decent play to get rid of that 4-power minion, but he has, this parade of minions that are continuing to advance on him at this point. He's got the crossbowman, he's got the sandworm coming for him. The reckless squire just needs a point. I think I'm also moving forward with my avatar, just to reduce the avenues he has. And then he starts moving his bird back, so I think so maybe he has another blocker at his disposal. On this turn, though, I go ahead and play a sight for turn to get up there, and then I play a Red Cat Powers to close out the game. So again, I think it was a good game. He made a lot of really good plays. I felt like it made a lot of really good and surprising trades. I just think that he didn't have the minions necessary to meet the threats that I had in terms of my minion power in the deck.